I saved the whole sect by playing badly. Chapter 25. Of course I chose to defeat magic with physics. Hi. Seeing this, Mu Chongxi stretched his neck and waved to him. Seeing how courageous the two were, Duan Hengdao mustered up his courage and said, "Hi," to Song Han. Song Hansheng. Grass. His face was pale, and he almost vomited bile from the stench. As a result, the three of them were more irritating than the other, and they even greeted each other. Yi. Kiao. Song Han gritted his teeth and spit out these two words, wishing to cut this man into pieces. Who are you scaring? Yi Kiao is not afraid of him right now. You can't beat my senior brother outside, and you are still in the stomach of a monster, so you are still arrogant. She pointed to the two people around her. Aren't you unable to see the situation clearly? You can only hold back when the three of us give you a punch. What would happen if 3 hit 1? Song Hansheng didn't know whether he was scared or disgusted, so he honestly kept silent. At present, there is no danger, but it is only because of the support of cultivation base. Otherwise, the corrosion of stomach acid is enough for them to eat a pot. If they don't hurry up and go out, they may die in the abdomen of this monster within a day up. Has your spiritual energy been sealed? Mu Chongxi found that he couldn't use his spiritual power. He tried to stimulate it, but found that his spiritual power was also imprisoned by something, and he couldn't use it at all. Hearing this, the three of them also tentatively stimulated the aura in the Dantian, only to find that the aura stored in it in the past turned out to be like a stagnant pool of stagnant water. What happened? Duan Hengdao was shocked. Song Hansheng's face was ugly, and his expression was dark. There is something in the belly of this monster that seals our spiritual power. Otherwise, how could this happen for no reason? Let's search separately and find that thing. The four decisively dispersed to find the culprit who sealed their aura. Thinking of the riot of monsters and the news that there was a spiritual weapon in the world, the spiritual weapon could not be ruled out. Right in the belly of the monster. Thinking of this, Song Hansheng began to search even more eagerly, but they couldn't let them succeed. The belly of the monster was too big, and the remains of the monks and monsters swallowed by it were everywhere, and some of them were not fully digested. The scene once made the faces of a few people who had never been in contact with these things extremely ugly. Yi Kiao was better. After all, she was not a real 15-year-old girl. After searching around, she couldn't find anything special. After about half an hour, there was no spiritual power to protect her body. Several people gradually felt it. Obvious discomfort. Monster beasts digest very quickly, and if the delay continues, everyone has no doubt that they will have a share of the wreckage tomorrow morning. Song Hansheng became agitated visibly with the naked eye. Are we just going to sit and wait for death? You die if you want to die. I can't be with you. His voice was indifferent. I'm the heir of the Song family, the chief disciple of Yu Qingzong, and you. He paused for a while, and sneered, it's just a group of folks, and some of the talents have been accepted as personal inheritance. It's true that Mu Chongxi's talent is excellent, but he is only from the folk. As the direct heir of the 8 great families, Song Hansheng looks down on people from the folk the most. He had also heard about Duan Hengdao, but it was an instrument repairer from a small family, and because it was a rare top-grade fire spirit root, he was exceptionally accepted as a personal heir. As for Yi Kiao, he never looked at each other directly from the beginning to the end. Duan Hengdao, although, honorable heir, it's not a question of whether we want to die now. If we don't find a way to get out by then, none of us will be able to get out alive. Yi Kiao got annoyed when she heard Song Qing'an pretending to be aggressive, and the corner of her mouth twitched. You are right. You will all die when you think about it. I forgive everyone. Her voice was sincere as hell. Song Hansheng fell into silence. He didn't know whether he had learned a lesson or what, but when he found out that Yi Kiao couldn't say it, he was so angry that he shut up. Yi Qiao searched around again. Song Hansheng didn't know if she gave up struggling or was tired. Anyway, she didn't get involved in the whole process. She was leisurely, not in the slightest sense of anxiety, not because she wanted to die, but because she had a way to get out. Now it is purely because she feels that there is something here that attracts her to keep approaching, which is too strange. Even in this special situation in the realm of comprehension, it was either by chance or definitely not a good thing. Yi Qiao didn't feel the slightest bit of fear, and even tried her best to find out that thing. Opportunity and danger were accompanied by it. Coincidentally, she was not afraid of any danger. The closer the distance, Yi Qiao found that her steps became more uncontrollable, and she approached a place step by step until she saw the whole picture of the opponent. It was a pitch-black stick. Somehow it was inserted into the flesh and blood of a monster, and it just stood there, with a kind of magical power that people couldn't help approaching. Yi Qiao thought distractedly, no wonder the monster ran away. Its flesh was pierced by a black stick. Who would run away if it didn't hurt? Without hesitation, she reached out and picked it up. What's rare is that it is easy to pull it off, and it feels cool and heavy to the touch. Other than that, it doesn't seem to have any unique features. Yi Qiao closed her eyes thoughtfully. So could it be the culprit for the riot in the monster beast forest? Just as she was soaring into the sky, Mu Chongxi noticed that the junior sister hadn't moved for a long time, and hesitantly pushed her lightly. Yi Qiao. What? She came back to her senses. Brother. As a qualified instrument repairer, Duan Hengdao immediately noticed the extra thing in her hand. Hey, Yi Qiao, what are you holding in your hand? Yi Qiao came back to her senses and shook slightly. Oh, this is the magic weapon I just found. Duan Hengdao. Ah. Is it so casual? Just pick up a stick and use it as a magic weapon. Yi Qiao didn't think there was anything wrong. She had already begun to think about the name of the stick with Mu Chongxi with great interest. As the saying goes, a gentleman doesn't take what others like. Yi Qiao pondered for a long time, then raised the stick in her hand. It's called Duaoju. After speaking, she pinned it on her waist casually. Duan Hengdao. Is there any connection between this name and a gentleman who does not take advantage of others? He didn't understand, and was shocked. There should be a limit to nonsense. Although Mu Chongxi didn't understand the meaning of the name, his expression was quite indescribable. Isn't that a good name? Junior sister. What are the sword masters of Chaoshi sword and Mingyu sword? But what is Yi Qiao's name? The master of the sword of seizing bamboo shoots. Does this sound plausible? It's embarrassing to shout out. Oh no, that's not even a sword. It's a fucking stick. Seeing that the three of them were still chatting, Song Han turned around anxiously. His face was pale and he was furious. Are you crazy? You are not in a hurry at all. We have to escape from here, or it may turn into a pool of blood the next day. They're still in the mood to chat. Are they a tourist resort in the belly of a monster? Mu Chongxi came back to his senses, and shrugged without apology. But you can't use spiritual power here. How can you get out of the monster's stomach? Are they supposed to dig by hand? The skin is so thick, how could it be possible to dig it open? Duan Hengdao was also a little at a loss. Do you use a sword to cut it open bit by bit? It will take several days. We will have turned into blood by then. Song Hansheng sneered beside him. Yi Qiao's expression was the calmest among the group of people throughout the whole process. She was in good spirits and showed no signs of anxiety. This made Song Hansheng wonder if she knew how to get out. Do you know something? Song Hansheng immediately asked unceremoniously, wanting her to rescue him quickly. Yi Qiao smiled slightly. Guess. Song Han fell back angrily. He became more and more convinced that Yi Qiao had a solution. Song Hansheng was not a fool, and he immediately understood that this woman wanted to negotiate terms with him. What do you want? Song Han asked anxiously. Lingxi. Or something else. He warned her in advance, it is impossible for us to give you the talisman of Yue Qingzong. Mu Chongxi rolled his eyes, disdainful, who cares about your talismans? His little junior sister is a person who has been blessed by the heavens, is there a lack of talismans? Mu Chongxi was quite scared at first, but Yi Qiao was so calm, he suddenly remembered the weird things that his junior sister made before. Maybe, the junior sister really has a way, so he calmed down. But Duan Hengdao didn't trust a few people, but he felt that it was useless to be anxious, so he simply calmed down together. This made Song Hansheng even more anxious. He thought that everyone knew the way out tacitly, but he didn't tell himself. Yi Qiao, I don't want talismans. Then what do you want? Yi Qiao, 10,000 high-grade spirit stones, as well as your Yuqing sect inner sect's mental method and talisman book. The talismans of each sect are different. The talisman book of Changmingzong is different from that of Yuqingzong. The talismans of Changmingzong are mainly offensive, while the Yuqingzong is mainly defensive. Qiao wanted to see what the real talisman of Yuqingzong's inner sect looked like. Hearing the terms she offered, Song Hansheng breathed a sigh of relief, and immediately couldn't help laughing at her stupidity from the bottom of his heart. Want the talisman book of Yue Qingzong's inner sect? Want to take it back to Ming Shuangxiu? Ha! Does she know that a person who learns a talisman at the beginning is doomed to continue in that direction, and learning talismans from other sects will only make him go crazy? However, Song Hansheng would not be kind enough to remind her. Dang even agreed, yes, I can give it to you now. But you have to rescue me. Song Hansheng was a neat person. He counted the spirit stones in the mustard bag and threw them to Yi Qiao, and threw the mental method along the way. Even if he was from a big family like him, the loss of top-grade spirit stones was not heartbroken. Afraid of being seen to be bleeding from his heart, he could only look gloomy and look at Yi Qiao sinisterly. Hurry up. Okay. The feeling of getting rich overnight is not unpleasant. Yi Qiao saw the neatly arranged spirit stones in the mustard seed bag, and there was only one sentence in his heart. Fu Shuzhen is rich. But wait for a while. Yi Qiao said, I'll count to see if it's enough. Song Hansheng. His face turned green. Is this person fucking poisonous? Yuzai actually started counting spirit stones. Yi Qiao scanned roughly with her spiritual sense, and after confirming that there were no omissions, she smiled at Song Hansheng in a good mood. Thank you. Song Hansheng looked at her expressionlessly, and began to think in his heart how to kill this nasty guy when he went out. I don't know why, although this person is very hateful, when she said that she could save them, Song Hansheng really misunderstood. She touched the bomb in her sleeve, and raised her voice sharply towards several people. Get out of the way. What will Yi Qiao do when faced with the situation where her spiritual power cannot be used? Of course, choosing to defeat magic with physics. Chevron